It's January 1st, 2021, 2:58 p.m. I was relaxing, talking with Deanna, and something popped into my head. So Deanna and I started talking about it, and I keep seeing a smaller, more affordable type of sphere, but one that had one that was more flexible, easier to move around. Something actually made out of glass, something that you could open the lid like to a jar and pull this cluster out, which is the generator, and put different stones or whatever you want inside it. And from that came this new product that's called clusters. There's a TSF, the Spiritual Foundation Spheres, and TSF clusters. These clusters, the main part of it, what you might want to call a metaphysical energy generator, because of the Star Essenite in it. But what really works good, especially with the human body, the body and the brain, all of the physical body that you're in right now. There's Star Essenite, stick selenite, citrine, and they're very, very, very high quality. And they're cranked up by myself and Deanna. It's the same, that's part of what goes into the spheres. Each sphere is a little bit different. On these clusters, just for now, there's only going to be a few of them. There's the basic cluster generator you can get, or there's the crown cluster, the pineal cluster, the heart cluster, and then the fortitude cluster. Now, the cluster generator is a jar with a lid on it that's as large as the jar itself, so that you can open it up and take it out now and look at it if you want. Now, a lot of you are going to open it up to see what's inside. I don't advise that, but I understand it. If you do, excuse me, if you do that, do it over a clean plate or something, because you will get little stone chips that come out, and you need to get all of them back in there. If there's a couple chips or something left outside and it doesn't get inside the rolled up ball or cluster of stones itself inside the copper, then you need to just put it in a jar after you put the wrap the cluster back up. But then you can also take the cluster out and put different chips in that you want to put in there, or a couple small stones. Now, there's not a whole lot of room in the jars, these cluster jars. Here, let me show you a picture of the cluster, and I'll show it to you next to the sphere. The clusters are about half the volume of the sphere. So here, take a look at this. Now, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of room in there, but there is some room for chips. There's a difference in the energy factors with the spheres and the clusters. Now, some of these spheres lately, they really put out they really reach out far. They put out a lot of power. That's because there's not only a bunch of Star Essenite in there that I can go into and really fill with my own energy, as well as all the other stones, but there's a greater variety of stones in there, which means there's more different frequencies, which actually increases your strength. A soul has so many frequencies. Essence has a little more, a variety of frequencies. Source has all frequencies. That's why Source is stronger, okay? It's no better than nothing else. That's just why it's stronger. So here's a picture of one of the cluster jars, one of the clusters with some fluorite in it. As you can tell, there's not a ton of fluorite in there, but there's plenty. There's just the right amount. We're making these in the proper ratio of the different stones. Now, basically, on average, these cluster jars are going to put out, they're going to reach out about 35 to 40% of the distance that the similar sphere would reach out. Now, how much is that? It all depends on how far it is. What's the basic rule of thumb? A basic rule of thumb is these things are going to, I know they're going to reach out 10, 12 feet or something from you. They're strong. If I was you, I'd keep it within 10 feet. And they are strong, but if there's not as much mass for me to put my energy into it to crank it up, and Deanna's also, then it won't put out as much power, but the cost is less. The cost is about 60% of what the corresponding sphere would cost. Most people are going to have this. You can put it in bed with you, but what I would advise, just put it on the night table next to your bed and just sleep, because it'll be cranking you up while you're relaxing. Each one of these clusters, we will, if you want, we'll put no chips in there. But what comes with the jar, with the cluster itself in the jar, is a variety of different chips. What we have available right now, we're packing stuff up, because before long Deanna's will be moved from the house. Someone else is taking over the house in our large family. But there's green aventurine, there's orange aventurine, black onyx, carnelian, chalcedony, the green chalcedony. Some people call it Imperial Z and all this other stuff. It's just some really beautiful, strong green chalcedony, very healing. Some charoite, a very beautiful stone, dragonstone, jasper, fluorite, garnet, iolite, labradorite, lapis, and sodalite. Now that's a pretty good variety of chips. We're not putting any dragon egg, Star Essenite into these clusters, because we have a limited supply that isn't packed up, and it's really, really beautiful crystal, and it's senseless to destroy crystal, and it's very, very hard to break up, but besides that, you're destroying something beautiful. So the dragonstone, jasper, those large pieces are to go in the spheres or to be sold separately. We're not opening the shop up fully up. Deanna's not fully opening up the shop, because as soon as I'm gone, she's going to shut it down. So, and I'd love to know exactly when I'm out of here, but every day I get hit harder and harder. Anyway, Also, let me go back for a minute on this other on the crown cluster. It's got Star Essenite, selenite, and citrine in it. That's the generator. But then it'll also have some amethyst flowing inside it. The pineal cluster has got the regular generator plus lapis. The heart cluster has got the regular generator, again being Star Essenite, selenite, and citrine with red aventurine. And then there's another one, the fortitude cluster. It's for basic core strength. It's Star Essenite, selenite, citrine, and fuchsite, and black onyx. Now you can take that and put just a little bit of garnet inside it, and that will give you one hell of a stiff backbone. So those are the different ones we're putting out. All the prices and everything are on the website. I just want to give you a basic idea of what they are and show you what, you know, the difference between them and a sphere. And like I said, they're about half the volume of a sphere. It's, you know, a little more, a little less, it varies. There'll be other clusters and stuff available later, and other chips, but we have to get reset up down in Florida before or if Deanna does. I mean, I won't be here. I'll be here, there, and everywhere. I'll be all over the place. So, just to show you what some of the chips look like, let me show you some pictures of them. We use nothing but the best quality we can get. Some of our chips actually were necklaces that we tore apart. That's why you can see a hole drilled in the chips. Heck, if you wanted to, you could, you know, take them out and use them for something else. The generator works great on its own, but it works best the way we build it with the stone in there. Here's some of the stones. I'll show you the picture as I tell you what they are. Okay, here's the green aventurine, which has to do with relaxing spiritual and physical healing. It's like quartz that has that's got other material in it, but it's clarity, and it's got healing. It's nice. Now here's orange aventurine, which again is quartz base, and it has a lot of passion in it, a lot of heart, blood movement, passion. Now here's black onyx. That's base core strength and pulling your energy together. Here's some carnelian, which is very good for blood flow. It's a form of chalcedony. And it's like one of the words I use for the energy is festival. It's happy, it's passionate, it's moving. A very good stone. Now, here's some green chalcedony. Green chalcedony is, again, very good for relaxing and healing, especially the physical healing. Very, very strong stuff, and it's been called imperial green and then all kinds of crazy names. It's the stone is actually a chalcedony, and it's green, so that's why we call it that. Now here's charoite. Charoite is a beautiful stone. The best charoite comes from Russia, but you can find some. There's some that's come out of China, even in the U.S., out in the Midwest, west here in the U.S. It's very good for the whole brain. It's a good relaxing, comforting stone, but at the same time it's very good in the whole brain, helping all your different glands work together metaphysically. Alright, here's Dragonstone Jasper. Dragonstone Jasper helps you reach out, grab your energy, and it starts pulling it into the core. That's why in some of our necklaces, black dragon necklaces, you have the Dragonstone Jasper, but then you also have black onyx, which once the energy gets towards the core, that's when the black onyx energy grabs it and condenses it even more. And there's no two stronger stones you're going to put together unless you add Star Essenite or something to it. And then citrine, you put citrine with that, that makes it even stronger. But remember that these clusters have citrine in them, and it's extremely high quality. Now this fluorite helps energy flow. So you might want to get a sphere, one of the spheres that's appropriate to what what you're looking for, and then you can have fluorite. Choose fluorite to be put in the jar itself. It will help the energy reach out to you and move around. Earlier I said sphere. To correct myself, where you pick the sphere and then we'll put the chips in it, I meant cluster. And then you pick which singular type of chips you'd like to put in there with it. You have a lot to choose from, but there's only one type of chip that goes in there. Now, this is some garnet that we have. It's beautiful gem quality, and it comes from India. If you got the Fortitude sphere and then chose the garnet to go in around it, that's about if you choose the Fortitude cluster and then add the garnet choose the garnet for your type of chips to be around it, that'll be very strong to add to your Fortitude. Another one that might go with that is coming up in just a minute. I'll tell you when we get there. Now another chip, another type of chips you can put in there while we have them is iolite. Iolite is very good with the crown, with the pineal. You can get a pineal cluster and then use iolite for the chips. And even though the chips aren't inside the copper, it's still all cranked up. If you set Star Essenite down next to a stone, then that Star Essenite is going to crank up the characteristics of that stone very strong. So, and they'll all be touching each other, so you're not going to be missing anything. Now here's another type of chip that we have. It's labradorite. Some very nice labradorite. Now that's also good to put in with any sphere you want, with any cluster. I keep saying sphere, I'm trying to say cluster. I'm really just physically, mentally just shutting down. So I apologize for the confusion, but I'm doing what I can. Anyway, the labradorite's also very good for the core. So for the Fortitude cluster, and the pineal, whatever you want, it's a very good stone. Some people will get the generator and just get the labradorite with it. So by selling the generator separately, but you get to choose which stones you want, you can kind of build a cluster that is more fitting to you, which that way we're offering a greater variety of clusters without making too many different clusters where we have to put the stones inside. See, this it's like a little system. It doesn't reach out. If you put it at your desk at work, you're playing cards with some friends, put it in the middle of the table, you can all enjoy the energy and get the benefits of it. But you can change it. You know, you can modify it. You know, you can have different people come over, or someone come over that's you're close to, and you know their energy is different. Then you can take the chips out and then put other chips inside there. So, and we don't sell the other chips separately right now, so you'd have to pick some up. Once Deanna's settled in Florida, then you know the shop is going to open up, and there's so much stuff that she has. It's ridiculous. Hundreds of items. I don't know how many different items exactly, but she has such a variety of different stones, sculptures, etc. Sculpted stones, small ones. Anyway, so the next stone, here's our lapis. That's our lapis chips. And as you can tell, they're quality. It's quality lapis. It's very good stuff. And then here's one more, one last one, and this is SODALITE. So one of the contents of SODALITE is usually lapis. So well, that's got the basic information, and there'll be more added to that later, but not until Deanna gets reset up in Florida. Oh, it's kind of obvious. I need to go. Deanna will have everything up and the prices up on the internet, if not already, very shortly after this. So this is a way for people to get to access the benefits of these stones and that source energy, and to make themselves stronger. But it doesn't cost as much, and you can modify it. There's so many variables that you can turn this into different spheres as you want. So now it doesn't have the power of the big sphere. It's not going to do a house. So unless you have a large bedroom, if you have a regular sized bedroom, you can put it in your bedroom, you'll be good to go. But I would keep it about 3-4 foot away from me. Anyway, keep it that close. So, and remember, those of you, that we don't, on these clusters, we are not super gluing the lids on the jar. We're keeping them open so that you can utilize the different variations possible with this tool. The sphere, the cluster, they're tools. They're enhancers. They can do so much for you. Well, this is just the last thing I could think of as a way for me to help you help yourself. Things are going to change. It's time for you to understand who you are and respect yourself. I don't matter. I am what I am, and I'm about to do what I'm going to do, and you'll see it. The animals are leaving. COVID's going to disappear. Poof. I'm going to get rid of this CCP virus. The animals are way overdue getting out of these bodies. And there's going to be a lot of people leaving this planet. Creation itself is going to be clean. 2021 is going to be a volatile year, but also one of change for the better for everyone that has compassion. Those that don't, they're leaving and they'll never be in a body again. Take care, y'all.